Awesome kids! Have you ever wondered how plants, animals, water, and air all work together? That's called an...
Hey everyone, welcome class. So, have you ever wondered how a completely lush green forest can just burn down to the ground in a wildfire, only to magically grow back even stronger a few decades later? Well, today we're going through a really fun explainer on the absolutely amazing, dynamic world of ecosystems and how they survive massive changes. We're going to explore exactly how nature operates, what happens when a disaster strikes, and how our incredible planet naturally heals itself. And, this really matters because we are all a part of this giant system, and understanding it is the absolute key to protecting our future. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. Welcome to the ecosystem. When ecosystems suddenly change, the healing power of succession, ecosystems in the real world, fact check and fun facts, and finally, the ultimate classroom quiz. All right, let's just jump right into Section 1, Welcome to the Ecosystem. Okay, to really understand why this topic is so important, I want you to actually close your eyes for a second. Imagine the super wet, lush Amazon rainforest, just packed with colorful birds and giant towering trees. Got it? Okay, now picture all that water completely drying up and the forest slowly turning into a flat, dry, treeless savanna. You can open your eyes now. This isn't just a scene from a movie. This is a real-life tipping point. You see, 17% of the Amazon has already been deforested, mostly to make room for agriculture. And if we push it too far, it literally loses its ability to recycle water and transforms entirely. Understanding why this happens is crucial for the survival of our whole planet. So, what exactly is this thing we are trying to protect? This brings us to our first big vocabulary word: ecosystem. Simply put, an ecosystem is just a giant, bustling neighborhood. But instead of houses and cars, it's a system formed by a community of living organisms constantly interacting with their non-living environment. They basically trade energy and nutrients, kind of like neighbors trading a cup of sugar. Everything totally relies on everything else to keep the neighborhood running smoothly. Let's break our giant neighborhood down into two super simple groups: biotic and abiotic. Bio means life. So biotic factors are all the living things. We're talking about the towering trees, the deer, the tiny earthworms wiggling in the dirt, and even invisible microbes. Abiotic factors, on the other hand, are the non-living building blocks. Think of the flowing water in a stream, the rocky soil, the air we breathe, and the overall climate. An ecosystem is just the magical way these living and non-living things team up every single day. Moving right along to Section 2, when ecosystems suddenly change. Wow, okay, just look at the extreme difference here. We have a warm, dense, green forest compared to the absolutely freezing Arctic tundra near Toolik Lake in Alaska, where the ground was totally shaped by ancient glaciers. This really proves that external factors, specifically the climate, act as the ultimate boss. Climate is the master controller that dictates exactly what an ecosystem is going to look like and who gets to live there. Speaking of freezing climates, let's learn our next major vocabulary word: the Ice Age, which is also known as the Pleistocene. About 10 to 20,000 years ago, these massive glaciers covered huge parts of the Earth. The climate shift was so incredibly severe that vegetation actually had to migrate across the globe to survive. Now, obviously, plants don't have legs, right? So they migrated by slowly dropping seeds further and further south over hundreds of generations, just to escape the ice. In fact, some plant species are actually still migrating today from that ancient freeze. Crazy, right? Now, here is a super common mistake I see students make all the time. You might think a forest just stays a forest forever, like a perfectly frozen photograph. But actually, that's a total myth. Ecosystems are incredibly dynamic. They are constantly getting hit by disturbances, things like wildfires, massive floods, or crazy hurricane winds that knock down all the trees. Instead of staying perfectly still, an ecosystem is always in the active process of recovering from its last big hit. Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, the healing power of succession. So, how exactly do they bounce back? The answer is our next big vocabulary word: succession. Succession is basically nature's way of putting a giant scab over a scraped knee and growing fresh new skin. When a disturbance wipes out plants and trees, the ecosystem goes through a step-by-step, directional healing process to reorganize itself and grow back from scratch. Now, this healing process actually comes in two different flavors, depending on just how bad the damage is. Primary succession is definitely the toughest. This happens after something massive, like a volcanic eruption, where the hot lava cools into solid, bare rock. There's literally zero soil, so nature has to start completely from scratch. Secondary succession is a lot faster. This happens after a forest fire or a hurricane. The trees might be totally gone, but that nutrient-rich soil is still sitting right there on the ground, which gives the healing process a massive head start. You can actually see the exact steps of this healing process right in front of us. Notice how tiny, brave little pioneer plants move into the bare ground first. As they live and eventually die, they slowly build up the soil. Then, slightly bigger bushes are able to move in. Finally, after decades or sometimes even hundreds of years, those tiny little plants have paved the way for a giant, healthy, towering forest ecosystem. It really is like an amazing relay race of nature. Let's zoom out a bit for Section 4, Ecosystems in the Real World.
The idea of an ecosystem is so incredibly powerful that even computer scientists use it to build global technology. Think about it. In nature, you have plants and animals interacting. But in digital blockchain ecosystems, you have over 560 million human users and digital computer nodes all interacting globally. Just like a forest ecosystem has rules for survival, these digital networks use special codes and computer programmers to keep their neighborhood totally secure and growing.
Whether it's a digital network or a real-life rainforest, we want to protect these precious systems. And this brings us to our final vocabulary word: conservation. Today, modern conservation isn't just about throwing a tall fence around a forest. It's actually the ultimate win-win scenario. We use integrated conservation and development projects to protect nature's incredible biodiversity, while simultaneously helping the humans who live nearby make a better living. Basically, we save the trees and we help the people at the exact same time. All right, class, Section 5, Fact Check and Fun Facts. Let's do a super quick summary to lock all this awesome info into your brains. Number 1, ecosystems link the biotic, living parts, and the abiotic, non-living parts together. Number 2, disturbances like fires force change by removing plants. Number 3, succession is nature's directional healing process. And number 4, conservation is exactly how we protect these complex networks and the people who rely on them. Okay, now for my absolute favorite part, the fun facts. Did you know that deep, deep beneath the ocean, there are hydrothermal vents that have zero plants and instead they just use bacteria for energy? Or how about this? An elephant is basically just a giant gardener. By knocking down trees, elephants actually prevent savannas from turning into closed-off forests. And hey, don't underestimate the little guys either. Earthworms and termites are master ecosystem engineers who completely mix and build our soil. Even a single beaver matters. When humans removed beavers in parts of North America, methane emissions spiked 4 times higher because the landscape changed so drastically. Everything is connected. I hope you are paying really close attention because it's time for Section 6, the ultimate classroom quiz. We are going to rapid fire through 10 multiple choice concepts. Number 1 asks, what exactly is an ecosystem? Well, it's the mix of living organisms and their environment. Go ahead and pause the explainer right here and see how many of the other 9 you can answer correctly before moving on. Let's keep that energy up with a true or false challenge. For example, look at number 11. Ecosystems are perfectly stable forever. We know that's false. They are super dynamic and always recovering. Pause the explainer here and try numbers 12 through 15. And let's finish our testing with a short answer speed run. Let's look at number 18. What bucktooth animal completely alters landscapes? The beaver, of course. Pause the explainer one last time to see if you can solve the rest of these. You all did absolutely incredible today. Before we go, I want to leave you with a final creative bonus challenge. How would you design your very own conservation project? I want you to look out your window at a local park or forest. How could you protect the animals and trees there while designing a way to help your neighbors at the exact same time? Maybe you build a community garden or maybe an eco-friendly nature trail. Think like an ecosystem engineer and remember that we are all totally connected. Thanks so much for learning with me today, class. Keep exploring.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new lesson.